Good morning, everybody. It is the 4th of July. Happy birthday, United States. 250 years old, baby. It's really great. I'm definitely looking forward to fireworks. There was some fireworks in my front yard last night. My neighbors across the street, they were shooting off some fireworks. They did an amazing job. I really enjoyed it. And then tonight, we're going to see some fireworks in the Marietta Square, and just really proud to be an American. I think it's awesome. Proud to be a Georgian. It's Georgia's 250th anniversary since we were one of the original 13 colonies. So that's pretty exciting. And then there's oh, so we go definitely going to the uh, the square tonight in Marietta to enjoy fireworks, to enjoy being around people. It's really fascinating because we are definitely a very, very pro Second Amendment state right now, and then I happen to live in a kind of a battleground area, but like it is a very pro Second Amendment area where I'm at specifically, but we're very, very close to very anti Second Amendment areas, and so. But there's supposedly going to be about 30,000 people at this thing tonight, and I would guess that there'll probably be like probably 6,000 of them will probably be armed. So they'll probably have some sort of gun or something like that with on them. So it would be that many people, and there's sort of like you could be kind of scared because you could be like, oh man, there's all these guns and stuff, and then go Gretchen. Gretchen does not want to get medicine, or she doesn't want to get her hair combed. Um, but there are some people that are very afraid that there'll be like 6,000, 20% people armed. Um, but then there's other people that are going to be like, oh no, so if something happens, you're going to have 6,000 armed citizens. And it just depends on how you look at it. It's much like what I was talking about yesterday with pull requests. Like there's some places where the employee, the person who is the author of the code, and someone makes a comment on their pull request, and then the person either makes a change to the code or responds or whatever, and then that person that the author of the code marks it as accepted. Or what is the word? Where you mark it as like where you've taken care of it, or in some places it's the person who writes the comment that says that it's resolved. And in both places, it's fully reasonable to either trust the coder to be able to decide whether something is resolved or not, or trust the person who makes the comment to decide whether it's resolved or not. Like those are both perfectly reasonable approaches. It's really the same way here. Like some people are afraid that there's going to be 6,000 people with guns there, and then there's some people that feel like happy that there's going to be 6,000 guns there. You know, um, and it just depends on like who you trust. Do you trust the citizenship to carry guns, or do you trust like or you do not trust the citizens to carry guns? I think that's really what it, at least for me, I don't necessarily understand every aspect of it, but I grew up in an area where like literally half the kids in my classes, in my high school classes, had guns in their trucks and stuff, because they would do a lot of hunting and stuff between school and their homes, and it was just like so. Anyways, happy birthday, America. It is, people around the world don't really understand, but like the United States is in some ways a single country. In most ways, maybe. But in many, many ways, it's also 50 states, and each state has a lot of control over how they choose to live. And then in most states, they even have it broken down into counties and stuff, and the counties have a lot of control over how they want it, how they want to live. It's just one of those things. But anyways, I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad we're in an experimental. We're always experimenting. We're always trying to get better, and I'm glad to be an American. Anyways, so the next thing is I'm trying to upgrade to Angular 22. Now, to keep in mind, so the two main things that happen as a result of this upgrade, and one of them has already happened because I had to do it for the other ones, and that was I had to change my version of Node, right? So in my others, if I say NVM, so that's Node version manager, LS, you'll see that I have three versions of Node installed on this, 2011, 2019, and 2223. The Angular 22 does not, can't, it needs to be on Node 22. It won't work on Node 20. So that's number one. And that's already happened. I ran into that issue when I think last week when I was upgrading the Say Hello project. So I ended up adding Node. Now, all the versions of Angular that I'm using so far are happy with Node 22. But is it Angular's fault that Node went from 20 to 22? No. And like where I work, I think we're on like Node 11 or something, or Node 12, or yeah, Node 12 probably, maybe Node 14. It's just like Angular is not forcing Node to upgrade. It's the other way around. And so another thing that's going to change is if we go to my packages file here, you'll see that we have TypeScript 5.9. So it's going to upgrade me to TypeScript 6. That is, again, that's Microsoft. Microsoft, it's not Google. Google manages Angular and Node, but Microsoft manages TypeScript. It's not Microsoft. It's not the Angular team's fault that TypeScript keeps getting moving forward and changing. Like it may be getting better, it may be getting worse. I don't know. I'm not trying to make that decision, but or even trying to process that. It's just it's changing, and like Angular has to change with it. And then Angular is trying to improve themselves, right? So like my understanding is this one lets you create signals based forms, you know. So anyways, all I'm trying to say is that people say criticize Angular because they're like it changes too fast. It's upgrading every 6 months, so we can't keep up with it. And the other thing is like most developers don't just have Angular that depends on Node, right? Like there's other things that most developers have to have, especially in a corporate environment or an enterprise environment. You will probably be using Node for lots of things. And whatever other things you're using Node for may not support Angular 22. So that is a real problem for the enterprise, right? Because the enterprise, like, they have to move a bunch of stuff up before they can, like, most enterprise environments have what version of Node you have locked down. Like, you can't just add any version of Node because it's a bit of a security issue. Um, so, they need to be able to embed it before. Well, so if it takes 6 months for the infrastructure team, wherever you work, to vet a version of Node, then you've already moved up multiple versions of Angular before you could even move up because you're on some old version of Node and so like it's very, very difficult for enterprise environments to keep up to support Angular because they can't move fast enough to support Angular. But I think that actually means they can't really move fast enough to stay current. Like yes, you could try to segment it out and say, oh, we can't support Angular, but we can't support Angular because it changes too fast and it's constantly forcing changes to like other systems like Node. But that is just you really could put that in different words and it's just say you can't. Your organization is set up in such a way that your organization cannot keep up with technology. And that is most organizations. And it's just very difficult to actually like give an actual like point at a thing so you can show a decision maker, hey, by the way, Angular, we've got, or to, it's very difficult. It's very vague, right? It's very abstract. Like, hey, are we current in technology? Like the CEO could be like, hey, are we really current in technology? And the CFO could be like, yeah, hell yeah, we're using Angular, we're using React, we're using this and that, this and that. And then the if you're using like Angular, the guy can say, okay, well, what version of Angular are we on? Oh, we're on Angular 9. Okay, yeah, we're not current. It's easy to tell if you're current or not. And Angular is really like I feel like Agile is sort of designed to make it easy for technical people to represent that they're accomplishing things. Whether it's falsely or truthfully, I'm not going to get into that, but it's like, okay, look, this is what we're accomplishing. And Agile is sort of designed to make that communication scheme like where you can justify things. I think Angular is sort of set up so where leadership can determine. It can be deterministic. They can say, hey, what version of Angular are we on? Oh, we're on Angular 9. That means we're on an old version of Node. That means probably everything is old. And like when you're trying to move forward, you're going to have like this entire mass of things to move forward. But if you're like, oh yeah, we're on Angular 22, well then that probably means like all of your stuff is pretty new because Angular 22 requires Node 22. Angular 22 requires. I wonder if they're going to. No, I don't think so. This could be interesting to see because it is funny that we're at the latest Node is 22 and the latest Angular is 22. So anyways, so let's try this. I think we've already done one upgrade before. Let's see. I think we've done more than one upgrade actually. Yeah, see, here was our CLI core 20, and this is, so we did an update of 20, and I don't think this is our only update, right? So let's just look. Let's do a search for ng update because we're on 21 now. And I think this one got us to 20. So we're already on 21. So we started at 20, which is kind of cool because it's sort of there we go, 21. And I did it this way. I Okay. So um looks like that worked for us last time. I'm just gonna try it again this time, but for 22. Um I think I probably should copy it like with this comma up here and that down there. And put that there, and then we're gonna change this to 22, everything to 22. It's kind of weird because I felt like we updated material differently last time, but maybe not. And I always do this in its own branch because it requires commits and stuff like that. I think when I first started doing upgrades, I would just do an upgrade. I would do an upgrade, and then I would be um, like while I was working on stuff, just upgrade it, and I had working code. Angular, the way Angular's set up, you really can't do that because it'll reject the it won't do it unless everything's committed. So anyways, we've updated this. Let's just make sure that it makes sense. 22, 22, 22. Everything looks like 22. All right. And I'm telling you, this system of upgrading things and building things out in as scripts in here has never let me down. It is getting big though. I mean, we only have like what from line 5 to line 80. So 75 lines, and it already is very unwieldy, but I think it's worth it. Okay, so we're gonna commit this, git commit -m, and we're just gonna say adds ng22 update scripts to the package. Whew. Oh, I need to do an add, git add dot. That's the only thing going on. So nice. Now git status. Now I want to run the first one. npm run CLI core 22. And to me, like this, like if you're like a contractor and you're only good, like you're like on um, a 6 month contract, and you do this upgrade, you are going to get blamed for everything from now until the end. As because basically it's going to show that you set flags that you shouldn't have set or something. Um, just always looks bad. In retrospect, for some reason, whoever does the upgrade just always looks like a bad person. It just kind of turns into just an absolute witch hunt. And so just to be clear, what we're really looking for here is when I do this inspect, we want to see ng version 22 right here when we're done. But before I accept anything, I definitely want to look at whatever it changed. That was like another thing. I remember people would just sort of, and I used to be this way too. You just get it upgraded, and then you're just like, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed. I feel like in my other ones that I upgraded to 22, like it changed a um, bunch of these decorator components. Changed a bunch of these guys to tell it that like something eager or something like that. The way it's going to update should be eager, I think it was, and what that would do. And so it's gonna be hundreds of changes in this application, I think, or at least dozens. Um, but and apparently like that is telling it to not use like to use ng zone, I guess I'm not 100% sure what that actually means, but I think it's saying that continue to use um, ng ng zone to do updates, and that's a very very uh, memory intensive way of doing it. Apparently, like it's a brute force way of sort of making updates, I guess. I don't know. um, and then but apparently you can't really, they aren't ready for people to do the other, which is to say that it's not eager or whatever. So anyways, and then that would be, everything would be signals based at that point. At some point, I definitely want this to be a fully signals based application. Fortunately, it was built on 20 and signals were introduced in Angular 17. So that means that it's like native signals as opposed to like an older version that, you know, might have some sort of implementation that just doesn't quite work right with signals. And honestly, I don't think signals are better than the other systems. Could not resolve. Okay, so yeah, probably that you're going to get some weird stuff because it's deleting things and all that. So let's go ahead and kill that. That is interesting though, because I know Angular did material changed a lot. So that's a fascinating issue. Looks like they got rid of that entire folder. And I'm referencing that folder. How interesting. So this is this cache error. It's like failing because it does, TypeScript 6 is probably demanding that we strongly type that, I would guess. And I doubt it's going to fix that for us. We'll probably have to figure that out on our own. All right, so it looks like that is done. Is that done? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. I don't think, I can't remember if this one asks you questions. I know the material update asks some questions. I think that one. I know one of the two of these asks some questions about, like, I don't remember even what it was about. But, and then another thing that is really interesting to me is like, I would say that, like, the vast majority of developers, well, vast might be over, but if okay, the majority of significant majority of developers are API developers. They're back-end developers. So that's like where on a web application that is where it is. And then you'll have a couple of CI/CD guys and gals, a couple CI/CD, I mean database guys and gals, and a couple front-end people, and then maybe like that many again of API. API is just very heavily represented. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We all have our opinions on why that is. Not all of them are flattering for everybody. But API developers have massive control over which version their code is going to run on, which version of Node, which version of PHP, which version of whatever the backend is, C sharp, whatever. And if they go to upgrade their version of C sharp and they find out it doesn't work, they can just roll back. That is not the case for front end. For front end, you can't control what version of a browser people are using. They can use whatever version of browser they want, and then that version can have whatever version of JavaScript and whatever, everything. It's completely controlled not by you. So like for Angular and front end technologies, you really do need to stay absolutely up to date. It does every API manager I've ever had has always said, "Oh, I like to wait till we're one or two versions behind and then move up." That is insanity on front end. And the reason it's insanity on front end is because the world on front end is constantly changing. So doing an upgrade in July 4th of 2026 from Angular 21 to Angular 22 is a different process in July of 2027. In July of 2027, things are going to be different. You're going to be alone. You'll be the only one trying to do that, or you'll be a very rare person. Right now, we're all like, we bump into issues, and then the Angular team does some tweaks and fixes it. Oh, here we go. This was okay. So I do not want to migrate from Karma to VTest, and I'm a little worried that my Karma may not work after this. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to delete them all. Um, and that'll just be one thing, one less thing for me to worry about. And then use the application builder to migrate projects to the new build type system. And I don't know what that means. I've seen that a lot of times. I've never understood what that means. Migrate application projects to the new build system. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't say what the name of the new build system is. And I don't even know what a build system is, to be honest with you. But we're just going to say no to the V test, VI test, VI test. It's kind of funny because I feel like they might have used VI test. And then, yeah, uh, because to harken back to the old VI editor that a lot of people still use and love. Yeah, see, this is that change detection strategy eager to all components. And that really, like, there's no other thing. So this is going to be a freaky ass little thing that's around for decades. I mean, like, nobody, like, this code, like, anyone who's stuck here, they're going to have this eager, and no one's even going to know what eager even means in like 5 years. And you can't, they haven't built out the next step yet. So I don't think. So I think you kind of have to be eager. Now, funnily enough, last week when I was trying to do this on the Say Hello project trying to upgrade it to 22. Um, well, wraps optional chaining expressions in navigation migration. Disables nullish. Okay, so that happened on both too. These are the ones that scare me, right? Like when they disable things like this, because it looks just like, oh, here, this will screw you. You will get in trouble for this. Like they are doing you dirty when they set the strict templates to false. Because in the future, if you were a contractor, it would look like you just did this. And then they'll be like, "Oh, he did that because he was lazy or whatever." It's like, no, the CLI just does that on its own. It just decides on its own. I do want to change that though. So it made 21 changes. Let's sort of review them before. So in our package, as you see, we still have our old version of material, but everything else is up to 22. It made changes to our TS config, and that was the suppress things. I don't know where that, I guess TS config spec, what is it doing there? Same thing, it just suppressed that. Where's the part where it changed this thing, where it said update entities? Oh, strict templates in oh, okay, so TS config JSON. It said it added strict templates. Oh, app JSON, okay. Where's the strict templates thing? That is weird. So here it says that it adds strict templates false in tsconfig.json. Oh, I don't didn't actually update tsconfig.json. I don't see that as a that is so weird. Okay, I, I don't know. Add strict templates. Strict. Oh, well, because I'm looking in source. There we go. How weird is that? So it said it added strict templates. Okay, so that's just strict though, not strict templates. Strict templates. There we go. That is so weird that this. Well, oh, maybe that is just so weird. Why is this not showing up in my? Is it? That is very strange. Right? It's not just me. That. What is going on? Oh no. No, cancel. Thank you. So it's saying down in here we have a change, right? This strict templates. Oh wait, this says strict templates is true. And then over here it says add strict templates to call false. Oh, when not set. Oh my God. Oh, and then it says no changes made. Okay. Okay, Morty. All right, so I don't see any bad. So apparently it didn't actually change that. That scared the crap out of me because I do want my templates to have strict checking on it. And and like I just want that for myself. But if I was working in a place, I could see that being set to false. Strict templates equals false. and then like someone trying to understand why the transpiler isn't catching problems in templates, and then someone saying, "Oh, it's because strict templates is set to false here," and then it would say Marty Trujillo, blah 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 blah, and some. And if I'm not real like what would be really good is like at this point you probably want to make a commit when you're commit. Actually, this is a good idea. Git add. This is good advice, everybody. If you're doing this, you should say git commit dash m automated adds ng 22 upgrade automated code changes. And then this is actually a perfect time. This is where ChatGPT, I think this is probably why ChatGPT was in what the envisioning reason was for it to help you with like language. Um, but okay, so I am performing an Angular 21 to 22 upgrade, and the CLI made automatic changes is I would like to create or like no, I want to. I'm working on the commit message. You know, the one thing want to communicate that communicate that that Angular that the CLI made these changes, not me. It makes it clear that the commit is primarily a framework rather than a manual code change. Here are a few options depending on how detailed you want to be. Sure. Yeah. Automate. There it is. And I do like the chore. And just, I feel like a big part of like Americanism is we just sort of have a natural rebellious sort of flavor to us. And we and so every time I do this I just get a little bit of a happy feeling because uh, I think this is what I use for chores. Um, I get a happy feeling because I am sort of rebelling because at where I work we're not allowed to use emoticons at all, especially in code and in comments. They're okay with us doing like in Teams or whatever. Like when we're talking to each other, we're allowed to use them, or like in an email, you're allowed to use them, but you're not really allowed to use them in code. I think they say let's not be cute, let's just be professional, and so I get to be cute on my own code, so I like that. It's a good feeling. And that to me is another big part of coding. Like if all you do is code for work, your life is going to be pretty miserable. All right, so now I need to do my other materials upgrade. PM run mat 22 I don't think this one. I don't know that I've ever seen this one actually change code. Mm. I really do like sparkling seltzer water. It's just so like I don't really like the taste that much. It's okay, but what I really like about it is that it just seems to shut down my appetite really well, and then it like so it shuts the appetite down, and it's apparently gives you a bit of a um, bump on like your adrenaline and stuff like that. So it just changed a couple of things in here in the packages. I feel like there's been many times that that is literally all it changed. It's kind of funny with the CLI stuff. I mean, with the ChatGPT and those things. Like I was just thinking, like how when I was typing there, it was helping me with my spelling. And it's just like I bet you there was a time before dictionaries where people were like, "No, you need to learn how to spell every word right. Every word we use has to be spelled because like that's how you remember." And then dictionaries came out, and it was like, "Well, you still need to memorize all the way everything's spelled because." Like you can't always count on dictionaries being around, and now they've been around for God knows how long. I have no idea, but a long, long time. And then when I was a kid, I remember I used to have a couple of high school teachers that were just absolutely fixated on slide rules. They were like these wooden things that you could use to find like the sine and cosine of things and stuff like that. It was like kind of a mechanical pre before the scientific calculators. It was like a mechanical version that would you could use to get you all kinds of good information and all of this stuff you needed. And they would just be fixated. I never ever even got introduced to how to use a slide rule. I just saw some teachers using slide rules, but I never actually even I barely ever laid my hands on slide rules. And I had teachers that were saying, "Oh, you can't always count on calculators being around and all that." And it's just like, I mean, that's true, but like these technologies can be around a lot longer than I can live. I mean, it's just one of those things, like it's very likely that calculators will be around for the rest of my life. Now, ChatGPT and AI, who knows? There's just no telling. I was just thinking about how, like, the other day, though, um, it's crazy how long this is taking. I guess it's probably, yeah, oh, yeah, so it's doing the node, deleting the node modules. That's very time consuming. There's thousands of files in there. Um, But I was thinking about like how just a few years ago, like everybody was just talking about nanobots. Oh my gosh, it's nanobots. And then it was like, oh, the world's over. We got drones. These drones are gonna kill everybody. Blah blah blah. We've drones are flying around everywhere, spying on us, weather balloons, blah 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 blah. It's just like we go from one technology to the next, and then like all these scare tactics come around, and then they sort of just disappear after a few years. And I can totally imagine them coming out with like, okay, if you want to use this stuff, there we go. Cleaning modules, installing packages, executing migration, updates Angular material to V22. Oh, changes made. Woo woo. All right. So now we'll do the same thing. Angular material 22 material. Fortunately, these little emoticons really screw up. Okay, now complete mess. Okay, hit dash M, and then I guess we'll just do the exact same thing. We'll go like this. I think it's like that, and then Control V, and then change this to material, and then put our little emoticon in there. Fight the power! Fight the power! You gotta fight for your right to party. Woo! Woo, right. Gotta fight the power, huh, Rhett? All right. Put a space. All right. Now, of course, I did not actually add any of this stuff. There we go. Okay, I don't know what's happening down here now. It's very upset about something. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Let's hit Control C. Let's see, Git. Oh man, everything's locked down. There we go. See if this cleared up yet. Control Z. Control Z. Enter. There we go. All right, so now what we need to do is restart this bad boy. This will probably take a bit. Be kidding me? All right, npm start. Let's see. If this works, then we'll push it, commit it, merge it into main, create a new one for the TypeScript refactor. Where I'm going to put groups. I'm going to build out the whole concept of groups, which is very, very, very likely to, I don't know. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a really big change. And actually, I'm really glad that we're doing it because um, we're going to have to do it over and over again. And so I don't know that we'll ever, I hope we don't have another like sort of structural change where it's like something is now, like hopefully we're just adding things from here on out. Oh, this is not a good sign. Although I think the first time it usually is really slow. So let's just at least double check that it's Angular 22. It's weird. It says raw file. Okay, so this is a little different. Press H to, yeah, I don't ever remember this before. Maybe it was there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just paying closer attention now. Okay, so we got that. So it looks like it built out. So let's do this. And open that up, and we're looking for Angular 22.05. All right, so now we want to run the end-to-end tests. That's really it. I guess we could run unit tests. I guess it makes sense to run unit tests, actually. npm run test. And we also want to run the end-to-end tests. So let's add another one of these. I have like, this is like a four processor, maybe a 8 processor machine. So run Cypress open. All right. So hopefully all these things run out and then we can push it and be done with Angular 22. And I think we're good until October. Is it really only going to be October? I guess this build out must have been late because I feel like they generally happen like in March and October. And every once in a while it'll be April and November. But this time it's July, which seems way behind. It'll be interesting to see what comes up for Cypress or Karma Jasmine. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Karma Jasmine even works. I think it'll work. Now, after what we just saw, I think it's going to work. I do think the day is coming where it just like won't work. And I am not going to spend like a week trying to get them to work. It's like, even if you do figure out how to get it to work, it's going to be like, all right, so it looks like they all passed. All right, so that's good. So what I want to do next is let's come over here. Let's come over here. Just make sure we still. It won't. This I probably would not. Like, I don't know. Actually, maybe I would. I was gonna say I wouldn't stop everything to get this back up to 100%, but actually I think it would make sense to stop everything to get this back up to 100% because if it's not possible, I'll probably still do it. I just hold it at 90. Okay, yeah, we're still at 100 all over the place. All right, so that's good. So that's a relief, actually. I didn't actually realize how stressed out I was about that, but I was. So we'll kill that one. The one I truly care about, like in this specific scenario, is the Cypress one. Really want Cypress to be. Ooh, no. Did not expect this. Oh my lord. All right, so what I'm going to do before I assume this is right. Oh, jeez. I don't even know. It'll be interesting to see what this means. I'm just going to kill this whole thing and then bring it back. Oh, that makes me so sad. This is a stab in the dark. I would say 1 in 4 times. Like just kind of restarting um, Visual Studio Code is enough. I think I made a huge mistake. npm run. I feel like I made a really big mistake of putting Cypress in the same project as Angular. I think that was a huge mistake. npm run Cypress open. And if that ends up being the case, it'd probably be the easiest thing probably to do would be to create another project for my Cypress. And then like spacetime dash Cypress and install Cypress and then move all these over. See, I think this is the thing I've been terrified about with the that we're at TypeScript 6. So it's saying your config file is invalid. It threw an error when and see, it was trying to use this cache Cypress node modules. So this might have been like kind of a ticking time bomb that was waiting, and when the node modules got updated, it got wiped out. All right, so okay, so I graded from 20 Angular 21 to Angular 22, and everything seems fine. Seems to be working, but I am now getting an error in Cypress. Here is what it says. So I'm just gonna like paste this stuff in here, like exactly as is, but I do not do that like in a professional environment. So for work, I will like sort of copy this and then like sort of anonymize it in Notepad. I don't know if that is a value, but let's see if this is enough for it to know. Oh, it's on the line that follows. Yeah, so it wants this one. Here's the second line. Control V. So the next few lines. Okay, so Okay, so see if this helps. Okay, there we go. This is what it wants, I think. This is actually an Angular. I wonder why they've decided to add this line, because I find this line to be just an absolute waste of time. Like, I didn't say it was an Angular problem. Yeah, TypeScript 6. I knew that was going to be the problem. Okay, okay, so module resolution. So I want to look inside of my Cypress. I guess I want to look for search in here, module resolution. I don't see module resolution in, so I don't see it. So it's probably higher up. See, and this is again, this is what I've been absolutely terrified of. In some ways, I'm actually glad it happened here at this point because like this is until now it's been just sort of a like, ooh, I think this might be bad to it's moved from that to in my experience, search and compare. I don't know why I can't search in this folder. So let's remove this. Yep, and it's in here. All right, so it looks like it shares. So, and I said this, and ChatGPT was like, no, it's not going to be an issue. And I was like, I think it's going to be an issue. The fact that both of my Cypress and my Angular both use TypeScript, but one uses a different TypeScript than the other. So my ts config.json file, but I think Angular uses the same one. Okay, I don't I don't know the purpose of this sentence. It feels like this sentence is there to make me not to just sort of I don't know what this sentence is here. It feels like it's not a good thing though. Oh my God. Okay. So what is it? I'd recommend, okay, a few questions. See, and then this just was a complete distraction. Okay, so compiler options. Okay, if Angular itself builds and runs fine and only Cypress, you can temporarily silence the TypeScript by adding ignore deprecations. Okay. See, okay, wait, you asked way too many things. Okay, which version of Cypress are you using? list Cypress. Wow, this freaking desk is $1,600. 15.17.0. Okay, so let's try. So they want us to uninstall. Upgrade Cypress. See, actually, I don't want. I feel like smarter move would be to move Cypress to its own project. Okay, to its own folder. Yeah, see, I think that this is, but I'm glad I did that. Um, but I don't want to try to move Angular down into another folder. I think I just want to have a space-time Cypress. I think. I think what it's suggesting is that I take this and I create a new folder called Angular and then move everything Angular and then move Cypress into another folder. But I think what I want to do, and that is exactly how I have things set up for my other ones, but I think what I want to do is um, move. I think what I would rather do is have a space-time dash Cypress and all that. And so I don't want to do that right now. And so I want to, so first thing I want to do is go to GitHub and create an issue to move Cypress into its own folder. I always knew that that was going to be a problem. I mean, when I first set it up, I didn't realize that Cypress uses the same config. See, if we go to our package right now, we have 6.03, but that Cypress, I think, only wants to use like 4 point something or something like that. So, issues, you remove Cypress from the project and move it into its own project. Now, one thing that's going to stink about this is then I'm going to have it's going to have its own repo the way I'm doing it. Um, and or they could have the same repo if I did what it's suggesting is move Angular, like create an Angular folder and then create a Cypress folder. But okay, so there's two parts. One, create a new repo. This sucks too. Yeah, I guess that's just how it's gonna have to be. And it's gonna hurt every single time. Every single time I do it this way, it's gonna be like, oh, this sucks. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this sucks. But the reality is it's going to leave an impression. And that impression is like, do not put Angular and Cypress in the same folder together because they both use their own independent versions of TypeScript. If they're using the same version of TypeScript right now, that's just a coincidence. You put for Angular or space dash time dash Cypress. And I'm actually going to say Cypress because this is Cypress. This isn't going to ever be Playwright. It's always going to be Cypress. I may move over to Cypress Playwright, but then I'll create a repo for space-time Playwright. Um, two, 3 parts. Migrate existing scripts to the new Cypress. And 3, delete the existing Cypress. So that, with that said, I will say it makes sense now that I have this, and it's definitely an issue, and we've described it. Now I think we can go to. And see, I hate the fact that we're going to say, what is it? Okay, let's add that to the issue. Edit. 4. Undo. What was it telling me to do? It was up here. Module. No. What was the suppress thing? Ignore. Okay. In Angular's tsconfig.json. All right. So I guess that would be in here. And I will say this is so not unusual. This happens all ignore. Okay, I don't see that. Oh, that was for Angular compiler. We don't want Angular compiler. We want, so that's kind of cool that compiler options has its own thing. All right. And so now let's try this again. I mean, like, I wish I could say that this is like, I mean, I've never run into this specific issue before, but there's quite often issues. And the larger your code base, the more often you run into these kinds of issues. Um, and then when you get like a massive code base, like a big enterprise code base, and that's why it's so hard to not always say every 6 months, because the number of weird little things like this that are going to crop up is going to be like maybe one every 3 months or something. Oh man, okay, because I didn't have it running. Okay. Yeah, and I think that is one of the funny things about trying to do these sorts of upgrades is that you always run into these really exotic, interesting things that like almost always like kind of have that hindsight equals 2020. The hindsight is 2020 kind of issue where it's just like obviously you shouldn't have Cypress in the same folder. They both use TypeScript and they both have their own version. Right, so we got it working again. And that like whole like creating an issue to remove it and all that, and even like if I was at work, I would definitely create the issue and even do a pretty thorough investigate analysis in there, um, and then constantly try to bring it up every chance I got, like at every stand up and all that. Hey, we need to move Cypress, This would be a good time to move Cypress. All that is a real like CYA kind of thing. It's like it really covers you in that. Oh, nothing is working. Okay, so maybe this would actually. Okay, so web webpack compilation error. All right, so now that's so funny. Okay, so I added um, share. So it does not share tsconfig files with Angular. Added the line to suppress the warning. Now Cypress launches. Seeing this error. Good. This is one very specific, and it's actually TypeScript webhook are still implicitly sharing yeah, they aren't implicitly, they're actually sharing the same config. Know how to structure the output unless you explicitly define moving. This usually happens after, okay, which I did not do that, but still using, okay, I did not move it. Created an issue. Oh, like it's okay. I don't know why. Why is it starting to behave like its own project? So you have not moved site. You should fix the current Angular tsconfig setup, not Cypress config yet. I did not freaking do anything. Compiler options root directory. Okay, so it's saying add this in compiler options. Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's kill this. So it's saying that I don't know. I don't really actually get it. Now that it's saying that, I don't know. Like, because literally all I told it to do is ignore. So this is under compiler options. It wants root directory. We never set the root directory. So comma. And all these problems wouldn't exist if I had only put Cypress in its own project, a standalone npm Cypress project. I mean, I like the idea that like I would have the fixes for Cypress fixes in the same folder. I mean, in the same repo, so I could be like, oh, okay, yeah, I changed this over here and I changed that over there. But and so the fact that they're going to be a separate repos stinks. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's not set up that way in my other projects. So, so we definitely got this far last time. I don't think we got this far last time. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is forget about this. Like walk away from it. In an enterprise environment, you're toast if you forget about this. You will get blamed. 100% chance that in the future, if you just walk away from this without creating an issue to resolve these issues, that suppress thing is going to come back to bite. It's, oh, damn it. Okay, so now the common source directory. Okay, so now I got all the way in. So this time I was able to get all of the way into Cypress. But when I tried to run the script, get this error, get run a script, this error. Okay, paste this. I wish I could say this experience is unique. I mean, we haven't really run into this on all the upgrades that I've done so far, but this is very, very typical. Pipeline. I love how this pipeline word has suddenly gotten a use of just like in your workflow. It's compiling, it's scanning. This is no longer a fixed tsconfig line, it's a configuration boundary problem, which like talk about an absolute set of words that don't even make any sense at all. The correct fix is stop Cypress from using Angular's TS type right now. Minimal fix to unblock you. And Cypress config. So I wouldn't even call this actually seems like an actual good fix, right? It's saying, hey, Cypress has its own ability to set up a config. So Cypress is, oh, Cypress config.ts, which is completely blank at this point. Export base support. All right, so this is my existing. I'm just going to give it this because I don't know. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. So it wants me to create a whole config inside of Cypress. Actually, I don't really have a problem with this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I do have a problem with this. I don't know. So it's saying in here, new file. Let me escape. Okay. This Cypress config, where does this live? Cypress config lives up here. Okay, so we want to create a Cypress. Who knows if this is going to work? This is why I'm glad to be in my own. That's why it's so important to be in your own, in a different branch when you do this, because it always ends up in these weird, or it often ends up in these weird little things. Okay, so now we want to copy this and put it in here. I guess that's a full-blown thing. And then I don't know why like the TS6, like you can't say TS whatever 5 or whatever in there. But it's saying I can do this and then I can Okay, so and that's fine. That shouldn't have any negative effects. So my current Cypress config is like this. Was there anything else they wanted us to do? Okay, so this is my current. And an observation I would definitely like to make is that like I could have worked through all this without this. It would probably take days, if not weeks. There's no way I could have the sort of events all in line so that my braid could later on sort of catalog this into a usable knowledge. It would just be like this big blur of events that somehow I got through the other end and everything was working. Wait, I didn't. I think I still need to add the setup node events. Spec pattern. I don't know. Wait, wait, I didn't. Okay. I was working, trying to do the minimum unblock. Yeah. See, it gives like all these things. It just. Okay. Add one line into the Cypress config. Compiler options. Wait. Cypress TS config. All right, let's try this again. I don't know. It's acting like that. I don't know. Because it was asking me to make another change. And then yeah, it was talking about like ChatGPT, I think what's happening here is ChatGPT was talking about like five different solutions at one time. And then I was focused on one solution and sort of just filtering out, ignoring the other ones. And now we can't figure out which freaking solution we were working on. So I think we have to start from scratch. Oh, this looks good. Well, nope. All right, so now it says no tests found. All right, so now it's saying, okay, so I think, I'll be talking about, okay, so right now, to launch Cypress, and it shows a list of tests. suites. But when I click on a test suite, the browser side shows this error, or the console shows this. What would this be called? The results. Test results show this error. Cypress could not detect tests in this file. And in the browser side, it shows error webpack compilation error. Oh, good. It clears up. You're past the config failure stage now. Now you're in a different problem. Compile your spec file due to the TypeScript 6 deprecations. This is no longer, I don't understand. Like this, I feel like makes it harder to understand. This is no longer Angular related and no longer Cypress config invalid. This is Cypress Webpack preprocessor using the TypeScript compiler options in TypeScript 6, now strict about deprecated options inside. So when Cypress tries to build the test file, it loads the TS config, sees that down level iterated TS6 flags it as deprecated Webpack compiles it fails. Minimal effects, same pattern as above. JSON. Ignore it. Step one. Why? Why did you do this? Step one. Put this in the Cypress config. Cypress TS config. Ignore. Okay, so we're back. We're doing this again. And I mean, I'll tell you, I can imagine this being really hard on like the SDET team if you had it in the same directory. The testing team, like they don't have power over this, so like their stuff would just be broken, and I don't know that they would get a lot of support from the development team. And that's why it would really help to have this Cypress in its own completely standalone project that isn't related, at least from a TypeScript perspective. I'm scared to feel optimistic. Okay, so it looks like at the very least they're running now and everything seems to be working as expected. This is a band-aid. This is a potentially career-ending band-aid. You do not want to stay this way. You want to pull the Cypress project out. Even though we have it working now, this is never going to. This is never going to. I don't know though. I don't because at this point we've created Cypress. It's got its own TS config. It's got its own version of TypeScript. But the problem is this stuff. These things are just deprecated. They're deprecated means they're gonna delete it. So when it's deleted, if this version of Cypress is using stuff from TypeScript 5, you're going to have serious problems. I mean, it's just going to quit working. I mean, alternatively, one truly probably the appropriate way to deal with this is, and when I do it over there, I'm going to install the latest version of TypeScript, and then I'm going to import my scripts, and then I'm going to delete them from over here. In that latest version, um, I mean, when we do that, we're going to it will be the latest. It'll probably be a different version. We might even have to change the scripts a little bit to accommodate that or something. But the thing is then now I don't have to do a TypeScript update until I need. Like TypeScript is not one. I mean, Cypress is not end-to-end testing. The thing that knows how to click through and all that. I don't really care if that stays current. It doesn't matter if that one stays current. I mean, I kind of needed to use the same node and all that would be nice. But anyway, so this is all working. So I think this upgrade is complete. Um, I don't know what I would definitely be like short. I'm probably going to call this like short-term fixes for TypeScript um, deltas between Cypress and Angular. So git add dot. And this is bad feeling, right? Like I'm not feeling a good feeling right now. Feeling a bad feeling right now. And the reason I'm feeling a bad feeling is because I know I have a problem. Now this is technical debt. This is like the truest form of technical debt. I have like a band-aided solution and I don't want to put it in the source. Like if I was working in a professional environment, I wouldn't want to say, hey, company, whoever's paying millions of dollars for software, you have a band-aid solution in here. They don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to say that. Git commit dash m uh, band-aid solution for Cypress TypeScript TS because Cypress uses 5 TS 5 and Angular uses TS 6. Cypress should be moved to this project and into um, uh, um, it is its own project. So that is where we're at with this, and we just need to be honest and upfront. Like if in a professional environment, you probably want to be honest upfront about that. You probably want to be like a lot more careful with those words because people just aren't going to understand that this is sort of par for the course. This is kind of a thing that happens. Like a battleship costs billions of dollars. It has to come in for maintenance once in a while. Um, and I'm sure while it's out at sea, sometimes they have to do things that they don't really want to do it that way. It's not the right way to do it, but they got to do it because they're out at sea, and then as soon as they come into dry dock, they'll fix it up. I'm watching this show called The Last Ship right now, so that's why those words make a lot of sense to me. All right, so now we want to go to, did we push it? I think we just pushed it, right? Yeah. So we want to go here. And the question is do we want to do the Cypress upgrade next, or do we want to do the refactor? I think we want to do the Cypress upgrade next. So set time and then compare a pull request. shouldn't be a whole lot of changes. And so I have Angular material and Cypress, right? And Jasmine Carmen, right? Like that's, I don't know, 5 things I think I just said. I have definitely worked in environments where we have hundreds of those of other things, including like third party um, components and stuff like that. And they all have to be ready to upgrade. Let's see, I merged it, right? Upgraded. What did I do? Delete branch. It's done, right? Okay, is there 5 now? Yeah. Yeah, the other one's gone. Okay. So now I guess this is what's next. This is like one of those situations where you're like, damn, I hate always being right. I knew, not when I did it. I didn't know till later, but I've like, and in all my latest projects, I don't put these together. So like I recognized that this was going to be a problem, and it was. I was just waiting for it to be a problem. And then next one, maybe 2, Jasmine Karma is probably going to quit working, and that one I won't do this. I'll just delete them. I'll just forget them that they ever existed. They'll be gone forever. But all right, so now we are in this one. So the goal of this next, like the next for this branch is basically we're going to have a whole different, even a whole different IDE, right? Well, I mean, we'll use Visual Studio, but basically if you go, oh, you, let's just go over here. Man, this took so much longer than I was expecting. Review and File Explorer. All right. So this guy's sitting up here, right? In oh, oh, that's cool. Actually, I think I don't know where does the code start at space and time? Yeah, you see the code. So this repo starts one level above this folder. So the repo is inside of here. But that's kind of cool though, at least from this folder. I'll put Cypress right here. And actually, maybe I'll even start opening with my ID. I might start opening up here S span DT and then Cypress. And that actually is going to be really cool because that will make it to where, um, well, it's going to be weird because there'll be 2 different repos that they're connected to because there'll be a Cypress folder in here. How am I going to do that? I kind of want to like do like a git init and push and create a new. So it's going to be its own repo though. See this, I don't think exists anywhere over here, right? Like this is my package.json. If I look at my packet, wrong one, package back, package.json. See, this is a different, but I think I want to do, oh, and you can see where we installed Angular 20. Yeah, so what I'm probably going to do is install Cypress here and then do a git init in the new folder and then create a new space and time Cypress repo and then push this to that repo. Make that sync those up. I can't remember how you do that, but they give you that when you create the repo. They say, oh, if you have an existing one, set the origin over here, push it, and then have a completely separate thing. And then I'm gonna have to keep that straight in my head because that's gonna be confusing. Anyways, that was freaking ridiculous. Hour and 35-minute video. Upgrades just always take a long time. They were really quick last week for the other two projects, but these are harder. Actually, I think they still took over an hour on those other projects too. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye. Happy 4th of July. Woo, 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 woo.